Welcome to Spectrum News at 10. I am Emedion James coming to you live from Uyo. Let's take a look at today's headlines. President Tinubu warns Nigerian pilgrims to Israel, Jordan against abscondment. Federal government cautions against illegal charges in all technical colleges. Plus, Trump announces new tariffs on drugs and kitchen cabinet. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in just a moment. Good morning and thank you for joining us. Our first report this morning is that President Bola Tinubu has warned Nigerians going for pilgrimage in Israel and Jordan against abscondment, saying there is no country like Nigeria. The president gave the warning when he officially flagged off the Nigerian Christian Pilgrim Commission (NCPC) delayed Easter pilgrimage exercise to Israel and Jordan at Sam Mbekwe International Cargo Airport in Owerri, Imo State capital. President Tinubu, who was represented at the flag-off ceremony by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, Senator George Akume, emphasized the significance of pilgrimage as a spiritual journey of faith. He commended the Executive Secretary of NCPC, Bishop Stephen, for his innovative leadership and successful conduct of 4 pilgrimage to the Holy Land. On his part, the Executive Secretary of NCPC, Bishop Stephen, commended the President and Governor Uzodinma for their support and urged intending pilgrims to be good ambassadors of Christ and Nigeria. Meanwhile, about 350 intending Christian pilgrims from Imo and Abia State were airlifted for the first time in the history of Christian pilgrimage in Imo State to the Holy Land from the Sam Mbekwe International Cargo Airport, Owerri. Away from that, the federal government has reaffirmed that tuition and approved charges in all federal technical colleges (FTCs) remain completely free, stressing that no Nigerian child should be denied access to technical education because of unauthorized payments. Minister of Education Tunji Alausa said via the ministry's official X handle that the government fully funds institution alongside approved costs such as boarding, uniforms, textbooks, exercise books, ID cards, stationaries, clubs and societies, medicals, vocational training, utilities, security, website results, school media, extra lessons, and insurance. He warned that no principal or administrator is permitted to impose extra levies on parent or guardians, adding that circular reinforcing this policy would be distributed to all schools and parents to eliminate any ambiguity, the minister clarified. However, that while the government covers tuition and major expenses, boarders in federal technical colleges are still expected to provide personal items such as bedding, toiletries, school shoes, uniforms for religious observance, mosquito net, cutlery, and other essentials. According to the ministry, the initiative reflects President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, which prioritizes technical and vocational education and training as a key driver of human capital development. Meanwhile, the ministry further assured that monitoring mechanisms are already in place to swiftly address infractions and safeguard the integrity of the free education policy. Meanwhile, the Minister of Education, Tunji Alauso, has said that the federal government under President Bola Tinubu is committed to restoring the dignity of the teaching profession and redesigning Nigeria's education curriculum to meet the demands of the 21st century. Alauso stated this while delivering a speech at a colloquium themed "The Future of Africa," organized to celebrate the 80th birthday of the former Minister of Education, Professor Tunde Adaniran, at the International Conference Center, University of Ibadan, Oyo State. Represented by the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, Professor Kayode Adegbowale, the minister explained that the government's priority is to revitalize the nation's education system by equipping young Nigerians with critical thinking, innovations, and entrepreneurial skills. He added that the future demands Nigerians move beyond rhetoric and embrace decisive action in 4 key areas: curriculum revolution and skills, investment in teacher quality, access, equity, and inclusion. In the meantime, the federal government has decorated 16 newly promoted senior officers in the Nigerian Immigration Service (NIS), the Nigerian Correctional Service (NCOS), the Federal Fire Service (FFS), and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) with their new ranks. The government charged them to reciprocate their appointment and promotions with loyalty, dedication, and selfless service to the nation. 6 officers were promoted in the NIS to the rank of Deputy Comptroller Generals, 4 in the Correctional Service to the rank of Deputy Comptroller Generals, 3 were promoted to the rank of Deputy Commandant General in NSCDS, and 3 to the rank of Deputy Commandant General in the Federal Fire Service. Speaking at the event at the headquarters of the NIS, the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, who decorated the senior officers with their new ranks alongside their spouses, said the appointments were purely on seniority, merit, and competence, following the examination conducted by the Nigerian Armed Resource Center, Abuja, noting that the promotions represented the 3rd set conducted by Tinubu's administration since 2023, with over 52 beneficiaries in the 4 paramilitary services. The minister charged all officers promoted to justify the promotions and avoid pursuing inordinate ambitions, stressing that Nigeria can grow and develop only when excellence replaces favoritism in public service. In politics, ahead of the 2027 general elections, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has attended a closed-door meeting of African Democratic Congress (ADC) coalition leaders in Abuja. The closed-door meeting, held at an undisclosed venue in the Federal Capital Territory, was attended by former Senate President and ADC National Chairman David Mark, former Kaduna State Governor Nasser El-Rufai. Also present were former Minister of Digital Economy Issa Pantami, former Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal, former Kwara State Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed, and former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi. Atiku confirmed his presence through a post on X, where he described the gathering as part of a broader resistance movement. The former vice president emphasized that the opposition bloc is determined to present a credible alternative to President Bola Tinubu's administration. According to him, discussions at the meeting centered on strengthening unity within the opposition bloc and harmonizing strategies for the 2027 elections. At the top of the resolutions was a suspension of efforts to register the proposed All Democratic Alliance ADA, which the coalition had earlier applied to the Electoral Commission for recognition. On security, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Ekpatokun, has issued a warning to officers of the Nigerian Police Force to steer clear of land disputes and other civil cases. In a video post on the Force X handle, the IGP declared that officers have no business escorting parties for land recovery. The police chief warned that the Nigerian police force is not an enforcer for private businesses. According to him, such actions by officers bring the force into disrepute, stressing that any officer found culpable will face disciplinary action. Let's move now to Africa, where former President Peter Mutharika is set to return to Malawi's top office after winning 56% of the votes in the September 2025 presidential election. The Malawi Electoral Commission officially declared Mutharika President-elect alongside Vice President-elect Justice Dr. Jane Ansah. Mutharika, who previously led the country from 2014 to 2020, who garnered just 83% and conceded defeat in a televised address hours before the final announcement. Still in Africa, the Democratic Republic of Congo is grappling with a new outbreak of Ebola as health officials have confirmed 11 additional cases in the Molape health zone of Kassia province. The outbreak remains concentrated in 6 health areas: Bambalia, Pulape, Comuninacho, Dikolo, Ngongo, and Mpiagang. Reports such as of September 21, 2025, the total number of reported cases increased to 57, comprising 47 confirmed and 10 probable cases. According to the result, the outbreak has claimed 35 lives, including 25 confirmed and 10 probable cases, resulting in an overall case fatality ratio of 61.4%. On the foreign scene, President Donald Trump has announced a new wave of tariff, including a 100% levy on branded drug imports unless a firm is building a manufacturing plant in the U.S. Trump, who announced a new tariff on his social media platform, said Washington will impose a 25% tariff on imports of all heavy-duty trucks and 50% levies on kitchen and bathroom cabinets. The U.S. President highlighted reasons to include large-scale flooding of these products into the United States by other outside countries, citing the need to protect American manufacturers from foreign import. The announcement came despite calls from the U.S. businesses for the White House to not impose further tariffs. Still on the foreign scene, U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Turkey to stop buying oil from Russia, part of a wider drive to cut off Moscow's energy funding as the war in Ukraine rages on. Speaking alongside President Recep Tayyip Erdogan at the White House, Trump said halting those imports would be the best thing his Turkish counterpart would do. However, the Oval Office ended without any firm commitment to lift U.S. sanctions on Turkey or sell advanced F-35 fighter jets, although Trump expressed optimism about both issues. Still to come in the news. Super Eagles to face Colombia in friendly November. Stay tuned for details of this in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. On a business news, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has stated that reducing has stated that reducing the monetary policy rate by 50 basis points is a strategic move aimed at supporting the nation's economic recovery, particularly in relation to small and medium-scale enterprises and households. This was disclosed by the Director of CBN's Monetary Policy Department, Dr. Victor Obo. He stated that the decision is expected to lower borrowing costs and channel credit to growth-enhancing sectors with a particular focus on benefiting small businesses and enterprises. Speaking on the direct impact on citizens, Dr. Obo explained the transmission process through which the rate cut is intended to ease the high cost of living. He said when the rate is lowered, commercial banks can access funds at a lower cost and are expected to lower interest rates for households and businesses. Still in business, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Abubakar Bagudu, has called on the World Bank to support Nigeria's renewed Hope World Development Program, a grassroots initiative he described as central to achieving President Bola Tinubu's target of building a $1 trillion economy by 2030. Bagudu made the appeal in Abuja during a meeting with the World Bank's new country director, Matthew Verges. According to the minister, the world-level scheme is designed to stimulate local economies, drive inclusive growth, and lift millions of Nigerians out of poverty. He stressed that while his ministry would coordinate the program, it would be implemented collaboratively with federal, state, and local government. In health, the federal government has introduced a new policy framework aimed at standardizing the procurement of medicine and health products across the country as part of a move to enhance quality, affordability, and transparency in the healthcare system. The Director General of the Bureau of Public Procurement, Mohamed Amadou, disclosed this in Abuja during the celebration of success ceremony held for the graduates of the Chartered Institute of Purchasing and Supply. Adamu explained that the new framework introduces clear and standardized procedures for sourcing, purchasing, and delivering medicine and medical supplies to public health institutions nationwide. Still in health, the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria, ACPN, has urged the federal government to officially designate community pharmacies across the country as primary healthcare centers, insisting that pharmacies remain the most accessible healthcare professionals and play a pivotal role in national health delivery. In a statement, the national chairman of the association, Ambrose Eze, described the theme of this year's World Pharmacist Day observance, Think Pharmacies, Think Health. This comes as a timely reminder of the of the irreplaceable position of pharmacies in ensuring quality care, expanding access to services, and strengthening the Nigerian health system. As they noted that in most communities, the pharmacist is the first point of contact for patients, providing immediate professional and reliable intervention for individuals and families. He explained that community pharmacies have increasingly become hubs for public health campaigns, ranging from vaccination drive to screening programs for hypertension, diabetes, and other chronic conditions. Now to sports, where the Super Eagles of Nigeria will face Colombia in an international friendly in November. The friendly will hold at the Citi Field in New York on Tuesday, November 18th. Eric Chell's side have another friendly lineup against Venezuela before the clash with the Cafeteros on Friday, November 14 at Shell Energy Stadium, Houston. The Super Eagles will use the games against Venezuela as part of the preparations for the 2025 African Cup of Nations, which will be hosted by Morocco in December. There will be in action against Crocodiles of Lesotho and Squirrels of Benin Republic in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers next month. And that's all we have for you at this time. To ensure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website at spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 10. Do enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for watching.